One of the most refreshing elements about the world of Boku no Cancel One Piece Macadamia Nut is the amount of pro-heroes throughout the series. Though, because of the sheer amount of them, we end up not really getting to know much of them past their initial run in their arc. Some examples being Manual and Rocklock versus pro-heroes like Eraserhead and Midnight. The main reason we don't get to see this happen is because the pro-heroes I mentioned later were affiliated with UA, so we'll get to understand them more as the series goes on, where the other outside pro-heroes we don't get to really see develop over time. But there is one hero who has managed to maintain her relevance in the series, and she was actually the first hero we saw doing hero work, or completing hero work, in the first chapter of the series, and that is, of course, Mount Lady, or Yu Takayama. Mount Lady is actually a very interesting character throughout the whole of Hiroaka, and it isn't just because I want her to fucking step on me. This is mainly because her origins come from a very interesting place in the development of the entirety of Hiroaka. So, prior to the creation of the story we know today, Horikoshi found himself trying for 7 years to get Hiroaka picked up by a manga company, and this led to many prototypes of the series. In one of these versions of the main story, Deku wasn't the sole main character. He was actually part of a group of lead characters which included a main female protagonist named Mount Lady. Looking over the DVD interview with Horikoshi, he explains that a year before the official first chapter of Hiroaka came out, that there was an early draft where the protagonist was a heroine named Yu Takayama, or Mount Lady. She was a young high school-aged girl with the ability to grow to a massive size. She would be accompanied by two supporting characters, which were the prototypes for both Deku and Bakugo, who in this universe were really close friends. Now, this version of Hiroaka was changed ultimately because Horikoshi didn't like the character that was Bakugo, and he also felt that Mount Lady's quirk would steal too much of the spotlight for every scene that she was in, and he didn't want to do that. Though Horikoshi didn't want to completely abandon the character altogether, so in the final version of Hiroaka, he actually split Mount Lady into 3 different characters. The first being Uraraka, who inherited the overall design and the original Mount Lady's placement in the story as the heroine role. Then you have Yui Koda, who is a side character in Class B, whose name is based off the original Mount Lady's, along with her quirk being very similar. And then lastly, you have the most obvious, the official Mount Lady, who of course inherited the full name Yu Takayama, the gigantification quirk, and of course the name Mount Lady. As time goes on, Horikoshi seems to have grown really attached to the character of Mount Lady, giving her the ability to stick around in most major arcs of Hiroaka. She's the first hero we see defeat a villain in the introductory arc. She is shown doing hero work on the streets prior to the tournament arc. She is shown to be one of the heroes we get a perspective on during the tournament arc, saying who would make a good sidekick and who wouldn't. She's also, not to mention, working security for that tournament during that arc. She's also one of the few pro heroes who openly recruits anyone for her workplace training, even though her workplace training is just cleaning up after her. And lastly, she's one of the heroes who was called upon to do the raid of the League of Villains warehouse, and she's the reason that Bakugo and the others got away safely, even after All For One annihilated her and the rest of the pros in that area. Hell, she still appears in passing mention during the most recent chapters, her joining up with Kamui Woods and Edgeshot, which is a team that has been built up since, like, her introduction. She's honestly one of the most dedicated heroes I've seen throughout all of Hiroaka. She's not only one of the youngest people in Japan to open up her own hero agency, but her motivation to do so is just to get her name out there. Because even if it means stealing another hero's spotlight, or she isn't exactly financially stable in her work, she wants to make it big as a hero. Though she also stated she wants to do it the fair way and not resort to a purely sexual appeal, which is probably the reason why she has so many jabs at heroes like Midnight during her interview about the sex appeal about hero costumes. Now, the reason she cares so much about fame as a hero is during her early life, she wasn't able to find a school which would make accommodations for her and her quirk. So she was forced to take classes and hero exams in back countries, limiting the kind of education and the environments that she could train in, which she hated. So she made it a goal of hers to make sure that her name was known, so anyone with a quirk like hers might get the help that she never did. Which is especially true because she ends up doing hero work at a massive net loss. As Horikoshi describes, her life isn't very financially secure. It plays out in a loop. She needs money, so she goes full throttle and gives it her all, which ends up destroying a bunch more stuff. Which, this gag has actually been shown a few times throughout the series, especially in the spin-off comic, Boku no Seriously Cancel One Piece Academia Smash, which, speaking of Smash, we are also shown that Mount Lady has to do a lot of other side jobs along with her hero work to even break even at the end of the day. Now, design-wise, Mount Lady actually seems to draw inspiration from Cassie Lang, or Stature from Marvel Comics. And given Horikoshi's love of all things comic, it wouldn't be too far out of place to say that he draws inspiration from it, since Cassie Lang and the original Mount Lady were actually very similar as characters. It also helps that Mount Lady's company manager seems to take a lot after Scott Lang, or the original Ant-Man, with his helmet design actually being very similar. You also have, given his position in the company, he takes care of a lot of Mount Lady's daily chores and helps her do the things that she can't do while she's out doing hero work, a very fatherly role in the position of her company. Also, given the horns on Mount Lady's outfit are an inverse of the horns found on Stinger, which is the second identity of Cassie Lang in the Marvel Comics. Also, the fact that Stinger's design looks a lot more like the current Mount Lady, where Stature looked a lot like the original Mount Lady. Also, given the fact that Stature and Mount Lady have a base height of 5'4", which these are in fact just small little details, but mind you that Horikoshi does like to take inspiration a lot from American comics. You also have the detail about how Stature and Mount Lady are connected because Stature and Spider-Man have had quite a few run-ins in the past, especially one of the more recent run in Ultimate Spider-Man comics where the two had a big clash, which, given that Kamui Woods is actually designed off of Spider-Man, it could explain why those two are constantly written in scenes together. I also find it very interesting how Uraraka and Mount Lady have reverse motivations. Mount Lady needs money to become popular and famous, and Uraraka needs popularity and fame to become rich. I love the similarities that reflect each other's connected origins. And overall, Mount Lady is actually one of my favorite characters in all of Heroica.
Okay, so let's go around. Give me your guys' top 3 characters.
Villain lives do matter, but number 1 is Bakugo. He's my boy, my precious child.
Of course, I don't think any of us were surprised about that.
Number 2 is Overhaul, and number 3 is a weird spot because that one just constantly keeps changing. Right now, it's because I was thinking about it recently and rewatching some scenes from the show and then rereading a little bit of the manga early on. I really like Mount Lady and how she's maintained some sort of a presence, even though she felt like a one-off joke right away.
She was supposed to be a one-off joke right away, wasn't she? Like, she was only now in the series this much because of her popularity.
Well, she was originally Uraraka's design.
Uraraka design and power.
Yeah.
Her ability to maintain her relevancy throughout the series is one of my favorite things, and I hope that she maintains this ability throughout the entire series. Like, if we get small little notes about her throughout every little thing that's going on, I think that'd be lovely. And if we ever get, like, a little, like, side story about, Class 2B, I'd love to see them talk about, like, maybe Yui gets an internship with Mount Lady because their powers are so similar, and, like, I think that'd be really cool. But that's just me. If there's any excuse for Horikoshi to draw her, I hope he takes it. Now, if you enjoyed this video and want to support more videos like it, I have a Patreon over at patreon.com/MannyNotTheBadGuy. And if you want Mount Lady to just fucking step on you already, then head on over to viz.com/shonenjump and sign up for your yearly, weekly Shonen Jump. It's literally like 99 cents every week. If you can't do 99 cents every week, then there's a big problem. You have fucking Mount Lady financials. So head on over to Funimation.com and also buy a copy of Shimonetta because this is also Shimonetta ad.